Hey there, and welcome to this motion science lesson on atmosphere. That's what we're talking about today is atmosphere. Here in Behance in the mood board, atmosphere describes the space or the air surrounding the scene in motion design. Atmosphere also describes the emotional quality of a piece. Let me repeat that again. Atmosphere also describes the emotional quality of a piece. Atmosphere is very, very important in any motion design. I use atmosphere all the time. You're going to see in these examples here that the atmosphere that I reference in these examples is very similar because to really create cinematic motion design, you have to understand atmosphere. So let's start here. And right off the top, this first image here, look at the atmosphere here. What I mean by atmosphere is look at the haze, right? Look at it's not really fog. It's like this kind of dense haze. There's also some flare happening here. You can see it here. You can see it down in here, but it's this quality of the air around our logo, 20th Century Fox. Yes, the X is really cool here, and it's kind of adding to the atmosphere, that kind of like the red tint here. But the overall quality of the air, just think about removing what we see in the air here and just putting like a solid background color behind it, and it completely changes the look, right? It completely changes the look of this piece. But when you take out that solid color and you add in this clouds and this kind of haze and this environment around, it completely moodifies. I'll make up the word moodify. Changes the quality of the work. Again, we see that atmosphere here, right? Atmosphere in this actual frame is more of the entire design element, besides the type. Atmosphere here, right? That moodiness created by the fog and the dense smoke. To me, these are kind of like ashes maybe falling out of the sky throughout. Look at this right here. This atmosphere is being affected by kind of something red off the screen, which is creating this moodiness again. Up in here. I mean, it's all over the entire image. I use smoke and fog a lot in atmosphere to create atmosphere, but you can also use things like lights, bokeh, which we see here, these two, bokeh, which is created by flares, light leaking into the lens. Yeah, these style frames would be so different without any type of atmosphere. Beautiful, beautiful style frames. The Lost Battalion, we've got some more style frames here. Again, ground fog here. Look at the atmosphere up in here. Right in there. I mean, it's across every frame here, except for maybe not so much in this frame. But then again, it's in here, right? We've got this volumetric light kind of shining down here. So the volumetric rays moving through the light are creating atmosphere. Ground fog down here. Use of light. Oh, here we can see the image is a little bit bigger. This is a great one. Again, like falling particles, part of that atmosphere, but it's more about this white fog. Here we've got the white fog with some light, some volumetric light coming through. And I mean, like, tell me you can't see the cinematic quality in these frames. Beautiful stuff. Beautiful frames, beautiful design. Resident Evil 2. Again, the use of rain here. Rain and like haze, fog. Maybe it's steam. Maybe that's what it is. There's steam coming off the helmet. Maybe this is steam over here. I think that's what it is. Yeah. Falling particles of maybe fire adding to the atmosphere. There we can really see the steam and the rain here, creating that moody atmosphere. I love moody work. More fog. Actually, look at the quality of the difference here in the foreground with the light really beaming through this dense fog. And then we've got this very, actually this is more of like a light, airy kind of fog. And this is very dense, heavy fog back here. It's really darkening up the scene here. Yeah, look at this, the cityscape here with the fog coming off the city. Here we've got some more interesting bokeh happening. Bobby Kennedy for president. We talked about this one in a previous example, but we're going to look at how texture can add to the atmosphere. So the texture, we've got like, the texture's here, but we also have like this light source coming in here. It's kind of like a flicker. And if this texture wasn't here and it's just a straight up flicker, it wouldn't be so interesting, right? But adding that light flicker with that texture, again here, helps to create some atmosphere. Lights being used here to create atmosphere. Same here. The Alienist, this one's really moody. I'll go ahead and play the animation here. I mean, look at the first frame here. Even just the atmosphere that's covering up the Statue of Liberty down here. I mean, obviously the background is full of cloud and fog, but then the foreground's kind of covering it up. Look up in here. Even I love the lights. This whole piece is like time lapse, but the flickering of the lights is so powerful. Look in here. It has kind of that old camera feel to it. Atmosphere there with texture. Definitely atmosphere some through here. Even the moving texture here, we've got some parallax happening here. It's like the texture's on the lens. With the smoke and the fog and the light. Light up in this corner here. Oh, look at that one. Beautiful, beautiful stuff. Love it. Here we have the Innocence files, main title and graphics. Here we're seeing light and shadow creating atmosphere. Right, so we've got a light source way off here. There's something that's creating these long shadows, which helps add to the mood. Here we've got volumetric lighting. The volumetric light is shooting through these bars, which I assume are from like a prison cell, and creating this atmosphere in here. Again, lights and shadows really creating atmosphere. More volumetric light. Remove that light from this scene. What do you have? Just a very basic empty room with a bed. No shadows here. No volume of light here. The swamp. Hazy atmosphere there. Look at all that haze in the scene here. Remove it. Looks completely different. That light. Very powerful piece. American Gods, we keep coming back to this one over and over again because there's so many pieces of this that work so very well. This first shot, look at this heavy fog through here, this heavy smoke with the light shooting through it. Completely changes the look of this. Again, remove the fog, the smoke, and you have a completely, still a good looking design, but not nearly as good looking as with it in there. So we see it in there. This whole piece is just filled with atmosphere. The lights creating atmosphere, the fog, the smoke, the bokehs, the particles flying through the air. So much good atmosphere in this piece throughout the entire piece. Look at that. Amazing. Heat wave, something we haven't talked about, creating atmosphere. More fog, more particles, flashing lights. Look at that fog there. That's actually one of my favorite shots. Right here. I just love like that cloud just coming down around that pyramid shape and just that light shooting up through it. So much atmosphere. We've got Catherine the Great on HBO. Style frames here. So you can see the atmosphere a lot up in here. Particle systems and volumetric light. Look at that. Greatness. Two more examples here. The alienness, which I guess we've already looked at once. Somehow I've got it twice here. So the last one here is the whaling concept titles. Again, look at this right here, right? Just these, the bokeh effect from particles like being out of focus with camera, in the camera, creating atmosphere in the foreground here and here. Scratches and textures, and then in the foreground, then we've got that fog and smoke in the background, creating atmosphere. Here's the bokehs again. And here, and in here, here. Some people might say, well, that's just an effect of adding, particles over the front and blurring it. But my friends, that is what atmosphere is all about. Remove any of these elements throughout that we've talked about with atmosphere, and it completely changes the look. That's my point with this lesson. So that's what I got for you on this study of atmosphere. Next, we're going to move on to creating atmosphere in some lessons. Stay tuned for that.